coming into the Fox 10 newsroom about what people were dealing with, the massive flooding, and the reports of a number of people who died as a result. AP reporting 4 people dead after the rains hit in the Globe, Miami area. In fact, floodwaters forced people up onto their rooftops. And just the questions about these propane tanks, about 1,000 of them washed away and downstream. We're now seeing reports of over 2 inches of rain falling in Globe over a 24-hour period. And the streets were flooded there as well as in Miami on Saturday. I'm sure you've been up there. It's Globe and Miami and the little community of Claypool in between them. And boy, do they have a huge cleanup job in front of them. These are some of the pictures in from the community, and also brand new just from this morning, Sky Fox flying overhead as the community comes together to try to begin the process of rebuilding. Now, the amount of devastation that was created by Mother Nature in this massive storm, as you can see, left behind a cleanup job that will last for months and in some cases for years. And it is just a heartbreaking situation for the people of Globe. We hope to continue to learn more as the day goes on. And our Irene Snyder has been reporting for us. Again, those are the brand new Skyfox pictures this morning. Take a look as first responders, volunteers, and others do all they can to just begin the process. Now, here's Irene. She's been reporting for us live all morning long from there in Globe. Irene, give us a kind of if you would, tell us what part of Globe you're in and what you've been seeing so far this morning.
Yeah, good morning, Ron. We're kind of near the downtown area here in Globe. We're just off Barati Street right now. You can take a look and see where we're at right now. So this is a creek that, according to neighbors who live in the area and some of the business owners out here, they said that it actually rose up to that embankment over there. And you can see it's called Owl's Automotive Repair. I spoke to him on Saturday. I was out here the last few mornings, and he was telling me the water just rushed into his building over there. Never seen it like that. And he's had this business for, I think he said, close to 30 years at this point. And that's what we're hearing from a lot of people. Again, this is Barati Street, kind of near the downtown area, but this is the area we've seen most affected as far as we've been out here over the last few days. The downtown area had some road closures too, but it looks like they are starting to really clean things up. So it's definitely a lot better than it was the last few mornings I've been out here in the last 24 hours. They did clean up several vehicles that were in these trees. So because there's that automotive repair shop right there, the vehicles we were seeing were rushed by the floodwaters into the trees, carried them there. I think there's still a bumper down there that you might be able to see from one of the vehicles. We watched them yesterday trying to hoist the trucks out of there, some of the larger vehicles too. But as far as what we're seeing here this morning now at this point, we're talking to a lot of these community members who told us they're banding together for support. All the people who live here on this street, on the lower level, they said that they had their basements simply rushed with water. They were emptying them out. We saw a grandmother who was pulling her granddaughter's little princess tutus out of the basement, completely soaking wet, and everything that's destroyed there. But she mentioned to me that is all material things, and they're going to rebuild, and they're thankful that none of her family members were hurt. But even the people who live up there on the mountains, I talked to a guy over there who said he's lived here for 65 years, his entire life, and he's never had any floodwaters reach his driveway. It didn't get into his house because, again, he's up on the hill, but it went up his driveway. So you can just imagine, like, the force of those floodwaters. We also spoke to Arizona Forestry and Fire Management, Tiffany Davila from there, and she said that the propane tanks, it's something a lot of people have been talking about this morning, or rather this whole weekend. And those propane tanks are from a shop that's up the street here. I believe that's also off Barati Street. It's right up the street anyway from here nearby. And it went miles and miles. They've cleaned up dozens of propane tanks at this point throughout the city, the downtown areas. She says those propane tanks really did travel miles. And you can imagine how heavy those are too gives you some perspective for how powerful these floodwaters were. But even though they've cleaned up so many, she says there's still some propane tanks that are stuck in areas you wouldn't expect, like under the bridges here in this area. So that's a lot of what we're seeing here this morning, but the good thing is seeing the community really coming together.
So we started as soon as you mentioned the propane tanks, Irene. I'm rolling that video for our audience watching here on Fox 10 Talks, and you literally can see a vehicle being swept away as that happens. Now, we do have, of course, the latest Sky Fox pictures as well. But when it comes to those propane tanks, one of the things you see there's an SUV floating away. Have you seen in some of these washes that normally would be dry, that of course filled up so quickly? Are there still vehicles underneath bridges and scattered around town, or what are you seeing in that regard?
So the area that we're at right now, I was out here Saturday and Sunday this weekend. There were several vehicles. Again, there aren't any right here. We did see earlier this morning there was an automotive shop, another one down the street from here, also on Barati Street, and they did have a vehicle that was still rushed away into one of those washes that they opened up, and they were doing some construction trying to get the vehicles out of there, so we weren't able to stay on their property. But that was just this morning, 3 days after the fact. And yes, they did have a vehicle that was still there.
Wow. Okay, just in terms of the downtown itself, Irene, you know, I have long felt like that is maybe the coolest almost time capsule of anywhere in our state, of a downtown Globe in its glory days, when really the mining world, when it comes to copper mining, was focused on the Globe Miami area. There are these beautiful old buildings, some of them 100 years old. Are they still blocking off the downtown, or are things starting to get back to normal there?
Not the entire downtown, so not even a mile down the street from where we're standing right now. There were 2 roads that were blocked off with police cars this morning, but just 2 streets there, not the whole entire downtown area like we were seeing over the weekend. So that's the good news. Really, the focus today is on those community members trying to clean up their houses, but as far as Arizona Fire and Forestry, they were saying, of course, they're focusing on those search and rescue efforts, recovery efforts. They did mention to me the fact that they had canines out over the weekend. I saw the canines out here, search and rescue units, but they had to give their canines a little rest today, so they are continuing a lot of those search and rescue efforts from the air using drones. So that was interesting this morning. Definitely hoping to find anyone else who needs help, and to, of course, with the community cleaning up as well, which is great. So one thing that I thought was notable to mention, too, is the fact that they have so many community members that are out here supporting them, because as you can imagine, the fire department, first responders, this is not the only thing they have to respond to. They have normal 911 calls they're, of course, responding to. And they said a lot of volunteers came out to help them clean up, to help try and find people. So that's been definitely something that the Department of Forestry and Fire Management says they're very grateful for, all the community members and volunteers who have stepped up.
You know, Irene, that is something that you've shared over the course of the last few hours. Great job on your reports today, by the way. I know you were out there on Saturday and Sunday. And you mentioned that is kind of the silver lining, right? When we see these smaller communities in Arizona go through something like this, you have video of a kid helping. You know, there's children involved and teenagers, and the community effort, I think, that you touched on is refreshing.
Yeah, it was nice to speak to a lot of those people. Of course, we have the tragedy out here, knowing multiple people lost their lives. That's the awful part of all this. But when we're looking at the good that came from all of this, it has to do with, all the community members coming together and stepping up. I spoke to a grandmother out here, and she was telling me that she loves living in Globe because it is such a small, tight-knit community, and she was trying to help her neighbor too, who was lived right next to her and didn't maybe necessarily have as much family help. She said they're all really trying to band together to support each other during this time. And like I said, I was out here this weekend, and the amount of progress they made today was really incredible, and that was in large part and thanks to so many volunteers who came out here and so many community members who got together to support their neighbors during this time.
It really is incredible to see people coming together in that community. I know I was sitting in church yesterday and they were passing around a sign-up sheet for people who would have time this week to go up to Globe and volunteer their efforts.
It's
I mean,
amazing.
we're seeing it right before our eyes, right there where you're reporting right there kind of from the main highway, just a few blocks from that historic downtown, right?
Yeah, we are just a few blocks away. We checked out the downtown area this morning too, but again, this is the area by the creek that seemed to be hit the hardest as far as the amount of damage left behind today.
Yeah, it has been wild, right, Ron, to see some of those images. My goodness.
Okay, Irene, just excellent reporting for us as the weekend has transpired. Thank you, Irene, so much for your reporting. And by the way, Krystal is going to be jumping in just a few minutes. Depending on where you were, you either got some or you got a lot coming out of that 24-hour intense rain period. She's going to be telling us a little bit more about that. That's coming up after the break. And by the way, just to do the follow-up, Celeste, on these propane tanks, that is certainly one of the most unusual aspects of this flood or any flood that we've had to deal with in our monsoon in a very long time. They did come from a facility near the downtown. The exact number is still not clear, but it was thought to be in the hundreds
My goodness.
of these propane tanks that were washed away. And they even had businesses from here in the valley get up there and try to help. So
there's propane in them.
Or
were they empty?
Yeah, no, I believe some were. They did say they're unlikely to explode, but I believe many of them did have propane in them.
Well, and then they're kind of, it's wherever the water carried them.
Right.
They're all scattered all over the place.
So it is, it's just day 3 now of the cleanup efforts after Friday night, then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And in Globe, they're working hard to try to get even a semblance of life back to normal after the massive flooding they experienced. Okay, we will take a break. We are going to do the mystery cam. Wait a sec. Mystery cam. Hold on.
That is called the Dow.
Okay. I can tell you right now, I guess New York City. We'll have a mystery cam for you.
New York City.
It's coming up. right, everybody, welcome back. We did locate the mystery cam, and Syleste and I have both been disqualified for our guesses of New York City during the stock
That
exchange.
is absolutely correct.
But hey, it's a whole new camera. So let's see. Would this be, that's a big old river. Would it be big enough to be the Mississippi? Could it be the Ohio?
I just love the response of just Melinda. I'm guessing
yes.
this is Melinda, but she added just onto her handle.
Okay, yeah, sure.
She said, oh, good, mystery cam.
Sure, yeah. We don't want to break format around here very
No.
often. Hala Quitta, who I think is one of our newer commentators.
Halakita.
Okay. Oh, Halakita. Hey, welcome aboard, Halakita. Tell us where you're from. Now, you're guessing Tennessee. I don't think you're watching from Tennessee, but we welcome all of our new commentators, that's for sure. So anyway, Syleste, you seeing a few other guesses?
We do see. So Darla says Missouri border.
Okay.
And then you're right. Husky Mom says Tennessee as well. Linda Montrose said Tennessee. Let's see. And we have an Iowa from Louis Gonzalez, a Texas from Lil Philosophy. So what is the waterway that is in Missouri?
It would probably be the Missouri River, but it could also be the Mississippi. I mean, if you're
it's one of the two of those, maybe.
If you're from St. Louis and further downstream, it's all going to be the
So are you going to
Mississippi.
go with the guess, Ron?
I think I'm going to go with Iowa. I changed my mind.
Okay.
What about you?
I'll go with Missouri.
Here's your answer,
Okay.
everybody.
Here
we
it
have an Iowa,
is.
Missouri, all your
I can see
guesses.
through. Nashville, Tennessee.
No, really?
Yeah, so we have some winners. Louis Gonzalez said
Okay.
Tennessee. Husky Mom
Okay.
said Tennessee, and so did Halakita.
Well, okay, so Halakita is definitely our newest winner here on the program. One more look at it, though, because it just shows you, by the way, Krystal joins as well. Good
Hey,
morning,
Krystal.
Krystal.
Hi.
It just shows you it all depends on which way they swing the camera. So I'm assuming that's the Tennessee River. And, if they were to swing it a little more to the left, you might see that beautiful downtown. But, or to the right, you might even see the Tennessee Titans NFL Stadium.
There are so many different universities right in and around Nashville,
yes,
too.
good point.
Vanderbilt, Belmont.
Belmont.
You have a few D2 schools.
Yes.
There's a lot going on in that city.
I know. It's
How
such
fun.
a great city. But the whole world has discovered it. And if you want traffic jams on a daily basis, move to Nashville. I'm just saying. Holy cow. All right. So our editor, Jeff Haggerty, put together one of the stories just in terms of the personal impact that this flooding in Globe had is at one store. You'll hear from the store owner. She's like, we're trying to provide a service to the community. We're we're a relatively small community here, and we've worked so hard to bring it all together. And here is just a little bit more about what she had to say.
We own 90% of everything in here, and 13 other vendors are in here, including myself. We worked so hard to get this store for the community. Everybody loved the store, and now it's just start over. Got to start over.
The storm came through. I knew that there was going to be some damage. I had no idea it was going to be as bad as what it looks. I don't know if we're going to recover or not. I'm hoping. I've been in the antique business for over 40 years, and it's always been my life dream to stay working in antiques. So I'm hoping that we can recover.
And when I got here, my dad was in the business. He couldn't even get out because the water was already up to the doors. And so the water kept kind of coming back and back, and people just started like yelling and screaming, and it's just so much chaos. But they started figuring out like we need to get ropes, we need to get these people out of La Casita that were locked in there. They said there were 40 people in there. You could see people swimming in the middle of the water. I tried calling 911, and they redirected me to Graham County, and they told me there was nothing they could do for us. That Globe had so many calls that there was nothing that they could do for us.
Wow.
Incredible.
That is incredible.
You look outside and you
goodness.
see people hopefully swimming, hopefully not
Right.
floating away.
Yeah.
But when the floodwaters were to the level they were, and by the way, if you're just now joining us, let me roll this video just so you have an idea of the impact when it was at its worst.
This
right
is
there.
wild.
Yeah.
And you see people standing nearby. They're like, what is going on?
Normally there'd be a trickle there, if any water at all. But yeah, well, I mean, Irene told us a few minutes ago she talked to a man who'd lived there for 65 years and had never seen anything like it. So we invited Krystal to come in and join us and just talk about, I mean, our coverage over this entire weekend has just been excellent. But now that we look back, Krystal, on Friday, and I guess there was some storm activity even on Saturday, it was really something to behold.
Yeah, absolutely. Friday, Saturday, and actually even Sunday. Some parts of the state had more rain that accumulated, including Globe had more rain on Sunday. Yeah. So, I mean, you said it. This was historical flooding for spots like Globe. But even in the valley, it was the most rain we've seen in quite a long time for a 24-hour period. Yeah. And it was enough rain to push us to what will be considered an above-average season at Phoenix Sky Harbor after such a lackluster start to the season, as we know.
You know, speaking of Sky Harbor, there was a lot of people stuck at the airport on Friday, and I think it's very unusual for them to do a full ground stop. I think I maybe have only seen that maybe like once a year when we have some really intense storm activity.
Well, I was there. I was stuck at the airport. Yeah. We were trying to get a 2:00 flight out, and it got pushed to 4:00, then 7:00. Then 11:15 at night. We never made it out, and I'm sure there were thousands of people in the exact same situation, but it was like something, and I mean, I've lived here more than 40 years.
Yeah.
I never saw that level of total lack of visibility. You're looking on Terminal 3, you're looking outside that glass wall, and you just can't see anything. Maybe the end of the jetway of the gate you're at. But you can't even see the runway or the other side of the airport.
You know, Ron, you were mentioning, we were chatting earlier about when you were trying to head home.
Yeah.
And it was mayhem. You couldn't find a ride.
Yeah.
But I think it also, it goes to show you, we had roads flooded around the city. I mean, Krystal, when you bring up some of those numbers, it's understandable why we had a situation where Waymos were stuck in the middle of intersections and like what would be a lake in the middle of the city.
Yeah, let's find out, Krystal. What did it actually look like when you started to crunch the numbers?
Yeah.
What did you see?
Well, okay, so let's start with, actually, I'm going to start with Phoenix numbers, and then we'll go to some of the statewide numbers. I'll get back to those since we're discussing around Sky Harbor.
Yeah.
So at Phoenix Sky Harbor, through last Thursday, so before this big system hit, our monsoon total was at 0.91 inches. So we were just under an inch for the total that we had for the season. So that's from June 15th all the way through last Thursday, so basically the end of September. And then from Friday through Saturday, we added an additional 1.85 inches from Sky Harbor to our season total. So we didn't even have an inch. We added almost 2 more inches. So now our monsoon total will end, because there's no rain expected for today or tomorrow. The monsoon total for 2025 will end at 2.76 inches, which is above average. An average season is 2.43, I believe. So we're going to end the monsoon season above average. Then you look at the year total. So for 2025 as a whole, so far this year, we've picked up 4.23 inches, and obviously 2.7 of it coming from the monsoon. The year-to-date average at this point in the year is 5.33 inches. So even though we added almost 2 inches of rain in the last, 4 days, we are still actually an inch below average for the whole annual total, because it was such a dry spring and first, 2/3 of summer and into early fall. So
where did this storm come from? It was a monsoon storm, is what it was?
So this is a tricky one, because okay, if you want to say that it's a monsoon storm, I'm not going to say it's wrong, because we're technically in the monsoon season.
Right.
But in terms of the sheer monsoon setup, this was not a monsoon setup.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like usually we see a monsoon storm set up differently than this. That's why I asked, because I was wondering, we have seen some storm activity coming from some of those like tropical storms and things like that out of the Pacific. So where did this one come from?
Typically our biggest rain totals end up coming from tropical systems.
Yeah.
This was kind of a perfect storm, so to speak, in terms of the fact that we had the declining monsoon high, which typically during like the main monsoon season is set up over like the Four Corners, New Mexico area, and it kind of guides some moisture from the Gulf up our direction. And at the same time, you usually end up getting a little area of low pressure that builds up near like Baja California that guides a little additional moisture our direction, and you get that like funnel effect of moisture. this time of year, the high starts to drop back into Mexico, which is what has happened. So that area of high pressure had slipped down, southward into like northern Mexico. It was still guiding some moisture, but then a strong area of low pressure ran down the west coast. So that was the key element there because it ran down the west coast, it was able to kind of garner some strength from colder air to the north.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then it sunk into our location. And the most important part was after it sunk into our location, it got stuck. So then it created this like perfect funnel of some monsoonal moisture to an extent, but then also this west coast cold air clashing moisture. And transitional storms typically do end up creating severe weather because you're transitioning from your hot humid season to more of your dry cold season. And when you have two air masses combine that are not alike,
that's your
you get
storm.
that boom.
Yeah,
yes,
you get the
exactly.
big storm.
That is a really good explanation.
Yeah,
okay.
thank
All right,
you.
we better get back to your maps
Okay.
here and a little bit look at some of these numbers.
Yeah, so these numbers are huge, right? So West Valley to start, and this is 3-day rain totals. So this is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well. And you can see parts of the West Valley, like along the 303 near Litchfield Park, 1.25 inch of rain. You get closer into Glendale, 1 to 1.7 inches of rain. And then you go farther north. By the way, these are all Maricopa County Flood Control District numbers. We love them for sharing all their data with us. Cave Creek, nearly 2 inches. Over 2 inches if you look like kind of near Deer Valley along the 101. You see that 2.36.
Yeah.
North Scottsdale, 1 3/4.
Look at the 2.91.
That's what I was going to say. Some of the biggest numbers, and this is why Sky Harbor ended up actually picking up some rain this time around, was because some of the main cells traveled right over like the South Mountain Lavine area, and then right through downtown, right through uptown, and then atop like Camelback Mountain.
Yeah.
And you see that 2.91 inches, 2.72 in parts of Scottsdale, and the numbers continue actually even into the East Valley. Not quite as big, but pocketed as big. So in like the Guadalupe area, you see almost 1.9 inches, nearly 2 inches along the 202 in Mesa, and then that 3-inch reporting just north of the 202, just outside of Mesa as you get into like some of the foothills.
Up there around Red Mountain.
Maybe that's why we had so many alerts. Ron, you mentioned at the airport, everybody's phone going off. But on Friday, because when you have all that rain, then you have the danger of flash flood, right? The water's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, great. Krystal, closing thoughts.
Just real quick, I don't know if you guys had said it, but you can see that Globe's number ended up being huge, obviously. 3.61 inches was their 3-day total. So the Valley and Globe ended up having some of the biggest numbers that time around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we all learn a lot when Krystal comes in.
Yeah,
for
great
Celeste.
explainer, Krystal. Thank you.
We are going to take a break. We will be back with more here on Fox 10 Talks, including a live report out of Michigan where they are reeling after a church shooting there. We'll be right back. And we're back. It's 10:30. This is Fox 10 Talks. If you've just discovered us, we're here live every day on YouTube, on the Fox Local app, and on Channel 45 in Phoenix.
And if you've just discovered us, lucky you, your day just got a whole lot better.
There you go. We also say we have the friendliest chat on the internet, so don't be afraid. Get on there and say hi to some other folks. All right, heartbreak in a community in Michigan, Grand Blanc. Where a gunman walked in as Sunday morning church services were underway at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in a community, just to give you a bit of an idea, it's north of Detroit, not far from Flint. Our Jessica Dupnack from our sister station in Detroit is joining us this morning. And Jessica, what have you learned over the course of the last several hours? I know there was a big news conference.
Yeah, there was a big news conference just a few minutes ago that's wrapped up here at Grand Blanc Township Police Department. That is the agency that's just leading this underneath the FBI. Now, we have learned, and that was kind of the big storyline the last couple of hours, was are there any remaining victims? Because this shooter, what he did, he rammed his truck into the side of the building yesterday, went in, started shooting, also used some kind of accelerant and lit the church on fire. It collapsed on itself. And so what they were doing today, trying to secure that scene last night through this morning, trying to secure that scene, looking for any additional victims. Now, we do know at this point that has been cleared, no additional victims. Right now, there are still 5 remaining victims in the hospital, and 3 have since been released. The sad news to report, though, is 4 victims in total. 2 died of gunshot wounds. The other 2 believed to have perished in the fire. Now, the kind of amazing thing about all of this is law enforcement was on scene within 30 seconds of the initial 911 call. They were able to neutralize the threat, neutralize that shooter within just a matter of minutes, undoubtedly saving lives. But you're talking about hundreds of worshipers, not only met by gunfire, but also the fire of the church just burning down. So a pretty incredible, massive undertaking. Now, right now, just for a little bit of perspective, the FBI is heading this investigation with the help of other federal agencies, including the ATF. They have recently sent in kind of their most elite fire investigators at this point to try and decipher exactly what went on, because explosives were also found at the church. IEDs were found at the church. So that's what they're doing on site right now, just a few minutes from where we're standing right now at the police department that's handling this investigation. Now, a little bit about this shooter. He's a 40-year-old from the area. He has a wife and a 10-year-old little boy. He is a Marine veteran, served time in Iraq. We do understand that he possibly has suffered from PTSD in the past, and according to friends and family, reports saying that he was acting erratic in the last 48 hours or so. Now, the press conferences that, again, have been led by the FBI, focusing mostly on the victims at this point, the ages ranging from 6 to 78-year-old, those church victims worshiping on a Sunday. They are very hesitant to focus on motive at this point. In my experience covering, these kinds of shootings, the focus is really on why that church. Again, for a little perspective, the shooter's own house butts up to a Baptist church. He must have passed several churches en route to the LDS church in particular. So again, not to speculate, but definitely was a targeted attack on this specific church.
I think about when I go to church and you see little kids everywhere, you see plenty of adults, and you do see the elderly. And as you mentioned, the oldest victim was 78 years old. We don't know if that was a grandma, a grandpa, anything like that. Have we started to hear from survivors yet, Jessica? Are the stories starting to be shared, or it's just too soon?
It's a little bit too soon. I would imagine by this evening, some of those stories will start to come out. I mean, the LDS Church is a very, very tight community, and it's obviously an overused thing to say tight community, but it really is. And you heard that echoed in the press conference today. So a lot of those details in terms of the victims being kept very close within the community. But of course, that's what we want to focus on is the acts of heroism, not only by law enforcement, but other members of the church. I'm told, shielding some of those young victims that were in there, young children that were in the church at that time. Those are the stories that we want to focus on because that helps this community rebuild.
All right, that's our Jessica Dupnack reporting for
She
us
did a great
there with our
job.
sister station in Detroit. All of that, a lot of that, the newest information, Celeste, coming out of that news conference.
Yeah, we were carrying that news conference live in the morning show this morning, and they talked a little bit about the sense of community and how heartbroken they are, obviously, after this took place. And Ron, I think since really the shooting of Charlie Kirk, people in the chat box are mentioning this as well, that we've unfortunately seen situations like this around the country, and you just have to stop and go, okay, what's happening here?
Yeah.
It's heartbroken. I'm sure we'll have updates throughout the day on this as well.
Okay, we are going to shift gears right now. It's 10:35, and if you are a regular viewer of Fox 10 Talks, you know that every Monday morning at 10:35 we get a visit in with our great friends at TMZ. So we are going to do that right now. I think I'm just wondering about the source, you guys. We're going Zoom on this, correct? Matter of fact, I'm going to punch the Zoom button, Celeste, and let's see if Branson pops up. Sure enough, there he is.
So I'd like to mention, Ron, Branson Quirk is a ASU alum.
Very nice.
He just graduated in May. And look at him. Didn't he look great?
Sure. He's going to have Harvey's job in probably another, 18 months.
Don't tell Harvey.
And I was just there in studio with you guys a few months ago at the graduation weekend. So that was a blast, and I hope to be back with you guys over there soon.
Hey, some big headlines to get to. Let's start with Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco. What a weekend for them.
I mean, definitely, to say the least. And I was just looking through some of the celebrities that were in attendance, including Paul Rudd. We had Camila Cabello, Ed Sheeran, SZA, Phineas. The list goes on and on. Martin Short and more. So tons of celebrities showed up to this wedding over the weekend. It was so lavish. Saturday, in the middle of the day, they tied the knot. They said their I do's out in a beautiful private estate in Santa Barbara County in Montecito. And if you don't know Montecito, it's a very popular place for a lot of celebrities, including the Kardashians, as well as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. They live out there as well. So it's a very great place to be if you're getting married. And from some of the photos we've seen so far, and more continue to come out, we've seen a selfie in the mirror of Benny Blanco and Selena, what looks to be them after the wedding. We also even saw a selfie of them in bed the next morning, Benny Blanco with her on his shoulder. So, we saw everything from A to B. It looked great. We know Taylor Swift was also in attendance, and we'll get to more about her night as well. It wasn't ending in Santa Barbara County. She actually flew out to Travis's game. So it was a great day for those two. Taylor Swift did give a speech, as well as Ed Sheeran. So, man, everybody just really wants to see that video of that speech.
Well, the fact that they showed the photo of them in bed the morning after shows they made it official.
Great.
They're married.
Right. There was no fights. They didn't sleep in separate beds. Everything's all good.
Before you know it, baby on the way.
Yeah, be fruitful and multiply.
All right, so
maybe
let's
already.
Yeah, maybe so. Let's find out a little bit about the whole day for Taylor Swift, or multiple hours there anyway. Kind of whirlwind for her.
Yeah, so Taylor Swift, like I said, gave a speech at the wedding, but then immediately following that, I don't know what time she left the wedding, but she definitely made a good time to make it all the way to Travis Kelce's game out in Kansas City. She secretly entered Arrowhead Stadium, and this is not the first time we've seen her enter secretly. By the way, at the wedding, we got photos of her getting out of her private jet just that day, and she was hiding as well. Exited very secretly. She did that the first time Travis Kelce played at Arrowhead Stadium. She snuck in behind a big, giant, bulletproof board for safety, and we didn't see her anywhere in the arena. Same thing happened last night between the Packers and the Cowboys. At that game, nobody saw Taylor Swift, but we did see her father. We saw her mother. We saw her brother Austin as well in attendance. So we know she was there and everything. But I don't know why she's hiding away at these games, because remember before, guys, we used to see Taylor Swift at every freaking angle, right?
Yeah. I wonder if maybe they're, before some of the recent events, maybe she's received
I
threats.
thought so too. Whether there's threats or not, it just feels like we're living suddenly in more dangerous times.
I know it really does. Unfortunately, before you know it, Branson's going to need one too. I mean, he's very
I've
famous.
already got my board ordered, guys, and when I enter buildings, I gotta hide.
It's going to be like the Pope Mobile.
He travels not just in a limo, but with security guards.
No, seriously, but think about it. An NFL stadium with tens of thousands of people. Taylor Swift's so popular, standing up there. It could definitely not just be, a security issue. It's more so nervous for her, very nerve-wracking for her herself.
Yeah, these are nerve-wracking
true.
times. Okay, there's big news Super Bowl-wise. There had actually been some rumors that T-Swift might be the halftime entertainment. Not to be, but what did you guys find out?
So between the Packers and Cowboys game last night, everybody got a big surprise. Everybody's been waiting to see who is going to be the halftime show for this upcoming Super Bowl. And there was a lot of rumors. It was going to be Taylor Swift. There was rumors about some other artists as well. But no, it's going to be Bad Bunny. It was announced during the halftime of that game last night. And right now we're seeing a lot of mixed opinions on this. I mean, Bad Bunny is a huge superstar. He was the most streamed artist between 2020 and 2022 globally. So this guy has influence across the globe. And also what factors in possibly to the NFL choosing Bad Bunny is the fact that that they're trying to tap into some of the fan bases in other parts of the world that Bad Bunny has influence in. So for example, South America, we know NFL has been trying to tap into that market as well, even doing games out there just recently in the preseason. So this is a great opportunity for them to get in front of a lot more eyes in different parts of the globe. So Bad Bunny, he's excited.
I think it's also could be, and maybe this is something you all have talked about, he's not performing in the U.S. on his current world tour because the issues with ICE in some of the cities around the country. So I wonder if the NFL talked about that, or maybe they considered it. I mean, that there's a little political type of thing in there as well, Branson.
Right. I mean, we know that Bad Bunny had recently just said that he wouldn't do any concerts in the U.S. because of his fan base being full of Latin people, and he didn't want ICE targeting his concerts, showing up to concerts, because we've seen ICE show up to different places. For example, here in Los Angeles, we saw ICE show up to the Dodger Stadium, and there was some back and forth there whether or not they could get into the stadium. They were staging in the parking lot, so it's something for him to make that decision, obviously, to not do it here in the U.S. And I think a football game and everything is going to be a lot different and everything, because there's going to be a mixture of fans, not just his fan base, but a lot of different fans. So maybe he'll use this as an opportunity to get a message out. We'll have to see. But everybody loves Bad Bunny.
All right, Branson, we're out of time. We got a couple extra minutes out of him today. That was excellent. See you next Monday, Branson. It's break
Thanks,
time.
Branson.
Here we go. welcome you back. I believe, Celeste,
Yes,
that we are
Ron.
looking. I know it's British Columbia. I think it's the city of Penticton.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a nearby city of Kelowna there as well. And yeah, it's a beautiful part. But unfortunately, you go south of the border there around my hometown of Wenatchee, Washington, and there are a couple of really big fires.
Well, just from that photo, Ron, you can see that there's a lot of haze in the sky. A lot of that smoke cover, probably from those fires.
Yeah. I was watching the Husky game on TV. Did not make it out of Sky Harbor Airport on Friday, which was my original plan. The grandkids were pretty bummed out. It was just a mess at Sky Harbor. So watched it, stayed home.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a flight and found out that as the game went on, it got smokier and smokier because of these fires.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get you up to speed on a couple of the big headlines that are happening today. We're watching Washington very closely, and here's why. President Trump is going to be meeting, we think that I mentioned the View just because every time we see that gigantic American flag right in the front yard, I love it. But there's a showdown meeting, you guys, over the shutdown. Did I just create a great headline?
Yeah, that was really good.
I like that.
Did you?
It sounded very good.
Bella, would you give it like 10 out of 10? Or
I
the
would.
showdown over the shutdown?
10 out of 10.
Oh,
Very
nice.
eye-catching. Maybe when I clip a VOD, I'll use that.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, it's Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries for the Democrats, and it's John Thune and Mike Johnson for the Republicans. And we're just a day away from the shutdown happening. By the way, they are required to keep the airports running. You might have, people are thinking, well, how could this impact me? What if I'm flying?
Right.
They are required to keep working at the airports, from TSA to FAA at the towers. But in a lot of other instances, the president did say to try to raise the stakes, I think, it's within our authority to actually lay people off. It doesn't have to be a furlough. If the government shuts down, there could be job losses here. So let's get serious. So he's bringing everybody together, and who really knows what to expect coming out of today and tomorrow. It'll be tense.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, and I think you think about like the national parks; those could be affected.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I just read an article about IRS. They'll stop sending information out. Like that office will be shut down.
Oh my gosh.
They'll stop taking your money. No, that's actually probably not true. That last part.
If you make quarterly payments, I think you're still supposed to send them in. It's just me guessing off the top of my head. Okay. But the other big story is the decision has been made. He is, there have been talks about sending in the National Guard to multiple cities. Looks like they're going into Memphis. They may be on their way right now into Memphis. Tennessee's governor said, yeah, we could use the help bringing crime down there. And we have seen problems in Portland with protest and a lot of damage done to buildings in that beautiful downtown part of Portland. And now the president says there have just been too many protests. We know that our ICE agents here in the United States are dealing with a lot. We just reported to you last week that a sniper got up onto a roof as members of ICE were transporting people in a van that was an unmarked van, and the shots rang out, and the whole story was just really kind of horrifying. But the president has made the decision. They are going into Portland, Oregon, which is really just a shame. We're showing you some pictures of Portland. You climb up on the hill there about a half mile outside of town. It is about as beautiful a city as you're going to find anywhere. But with the protests that have been happening, what's that, Bella?
It's such a beautiful city.
Such a beautiful city. And Bella comes from Seattle, which is another beautiful city. But anyway, the decision is made. And so our poll question today looks like this. Ready? We're going to pop it right up on the screen. He's decided to send National Guard into Oregon after anti-ICE protest. What are your thoughts? 71% say it's good because ICE agents do need more protection. They are under threat. 26% say it's bad. The National Guard shouldn't be used in American cities. Your third option is they don't want them. In Oregon, the officials there have all spoken out, from the governor to the Attorney General, and so 3% are saying he ought to be listening to them. If you grab that QR code, we'll watch these numbers and we'll see, Celeste, whether or not they move around.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
hold on.
There it is.
Let me just ask what the source is, you guys, for our YouTube poll question.
It popped up. There you go.
Oh, there it is.
So listen to this, 1,000 votes.
Oh, my
in just
goodness.
1 hour.
Wow. Okay.
56% say good. ICE agents need more protection. They're under threat. 33% say bad. The National Guard shouldn't be used in American cities. And 11% say Oregon officials don't want them. He should listen to them.
All right. Now, here's the situation.
Yes.
Dave is a busy guy.
Very
and
busy.
so
The busiest.
the
Yes.
busiest, yeah. In fact, he's the unofficial winner of Who's the Busiest Guy in the Newsroom.
Yeah.
Big D. Big D. So on top of everything else, and you guys are voting in such big numbers. We appreciate that there are opinions on all sides, and we love that we live in a country where we can share our opinions and we have freedom of speech. But let's go to Dave. Have you had time on top of all your other duties to look for comments, buddy?
Yes, well, I'm thrilled to win that contest, but we have a very hardworking newsroom. Great comments, like you said, on both sides, which we love seeing. GEW 9487 says when state and local governments don't do their jobs, safety and security must be provided. Send in the adults to protect ICE, law enforcement, and Americans' lives. Shame on the Portland mayor and Oregon governor for not doing their jobs. Jessica X12Y20 says the people that are for Trump sending ICE and military into blue cities clearly have never lived in a big, beautiful blue city. We don't need that chaos. We enjoy life in our cities. And finally, Mr. J-Man M says the feds have the authority to step in when states fail to enforce the law, resulting in the violation of constitutional rights of the citizens or the continuation of federal crimes, such as immigration violation. In our legal system, all attempts to defend illegal immigrants from ICE are grounds for a federal crackdown. Amazingly insightful comments. We love them. Keep them coming, guys.
Okay. Thank you, Big D.
Big D.
Celeste
Nice.
was concerned when Dave hit the microphone.
I
More
know.
about his wrist than the possible damage to station equipment.
Well, I thought, what is that boom?
All right, Bella joins us. Well, we love when we get a chance to. How excited are we, you guys, about the Phoenix Mercury?
Oh, it's great.
Come on.
That was a great game.
Was that so great?
It was good.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
good.
So, I mean, if you haven't heard the news, the Mercury are in the WNBA Finals. We are used to being title town when it comes to the Mercury.
Yes.
I mean, they're always good. And we've got some new faces this year, and we've lost some of our favorites over the course of this last year. But boy, a lot of excitement, I think, Celeste, with a game that really came down to the wire last night.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I think it's exciting also because it shows you we're a big town when it comes to sports.
Yeah, we
Not
are.
just for the men's sports, but the women's. The Mercury
Mm-hmm.
are on the national map when it comes to athletics, and
Oh,
they have been
yeah.
for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
We've always had a number of different of the female players play in the Olympics on the Olympic teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is very exciting. And I think it's cool that they were, they had this game last night. They had to push the Jonas Brothers concert to tonight.
Yes, they
That's
did.
how big of a deal they
Yeah.
are. Nothing's going to move them out of the PHX arena.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And we wondered, you haven't heard anything, Bella. We were hoping the Jonas Brothers at least got tickets to the game.
We
just
hope.
just to keep them sticking around.
Yeah. I
Right?
mean,
And hopefully they got a rally towel.
I hope so. It was a great game.
Anyway, yeah.
Great game.
We sit and wait now because they are going to play the winner of the other semifinal that is going on. And by the way, they did beat the Minnesota Lynx. So we will wait to see who they get to play in the finals.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're excited to see it. Now, the other thing I should just mention. Oh, did we? I think I might have blown right past our shot of downtown. I don't think we have a shot of downtown Phoenix, but I can tell you this. We have a shot of another venue that is worth talking about, ladies and gentlemen. It's called
Mountain America.
Thank
at
you,
this
Ron.
stadium. I am surrounded by ASU graduates.
That's right.
Correct.
Bring it.
And the Devils look so good. Now, actually, they were behind early. Oh, look at that.
That is a stunning shot.
We flew Skyfox drone over campus. These are brand new pictures from just the other day.
Pretty.
Yeah, so
and
great.
they do such a good job for us. What a great view. But Celeste, they actually were behind.
Yes, early on.
And I know you were watching.
Yes, we were.
But I know you weren't worried.
We were supposed to be at the game, but with the big storm, we didn't go because traffic was so bad.
Yeah.
That's when streets were
Streets
flooded.
were flooded in Tempe.
And so we watched it from home on Friday night.
Yeah.
And
you were afraid you could possibly get stuck in the traffic, or what?
I didn't. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I mean, there's no way. My husband Gary would not be having that.
Yeah.
He would have walked the rest of the way.
I was going to say, did you think about hitchhiking?
I mean, I guess we could. Too bad we didn't have a wingsuit. Maybe something like come off Camelback Mountain.
Correct.
But
We're supposed to have flying cars in 3 more years, everybody. So
Okay,
then
great.
they'll be able to make it.
So they're down early on, and we're thinking, oh man. But I got to tell you, they came back, and it was fun to watch. Did you watch, Bells?
I did. I watched parts. Yes.
Yeah, it was so fun to watch. And Sam Levitt, he's pretty amazing.
Yeah, man.
And
Has that guy added 20 pounds of muscle this year from last year? Last year he looked like a kid. This year he looks like he's ready for the NFL.
A man.
I know.
Right?
And you know, he really, I think it goes to show you everybody can have a bad game.
Yeah.
Right? Like he had a bad
definitely.
game the week before, whenever that was, a little whiles before. And this time he came back composed, ready for the game, and totally rallied this team.
Right.
And they won at the very end.
Oh my gosh. Talk about exciting. Okay, so the final score was 27-24. And it was another, it was just I don't know what it is about Big 12 football, but you can't take your eyes off it. It's a lot of these games are exciting. They come right down to the end. Then on Saturday night, it was BYU and Colorado, and that came down to the final 1 minute.
BYU won, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just in the last few seconds.
Right.
And then there were just a bunch of great games. The Big 12 is, I think, the most fun league of them all.
Oh, it's and I think it's because you have a lot of these newer schools that joined,
Yes,
not
sure.
too long ago.
Yeah.
And their rosters are changing because guys are leaving, transfer portal, stuff like that. And so you have every season you have this new bunch of players.
Right.
But so ASU won at the end,
Yes.
BYU won at the end. There's so many close games.
Yeah, no kidding. Even Houston, Oregon State, they're still looking for their first win, but Houston came back and won in the final.
How'd the
1
Huskies do?
minute.
I know you didn't get to the game. But...
We did not beat Ohio State. It was going to be a tall order for
What was
sure.
this final on that one?
I think it was 24-6, but we held them. Oh, now we're out of time. But we did hold them scoreless for the first 29 minutes of the game.
Okay.
That was a win for us.
All right, good. There
you
Break
go.
time. Here comes Anita.
I like that.
Thank you.
And this Monday edition.
And Monday edition, Danielle and Krystal.
Yep.
Are joining us for 11 o'clock. We're going to get right to Globe, Miami area. That is really the big story. The weather was Friday.
Yeah.
You were here with us all morning long. And now we're talking about the aftermath, the cleanup, the flooding, the devastation.
Yeah, so the biggest rain totals were really right in central Arizona. Like if you looked at a map, and actually the climate office for the state of Arizona put out a map, the hot spot was like Maricopa County to Healy County. Like that was the area that got hit the hardest. And of course that included Globe, which had already been hit the day before. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they got rain, unfortunately.
We were talking a little bit about this. We're looking at the video right now, Krystal, and you were just mentioning geographically where they're located, because I've covered flooding in Globe, Miami, years ago.
Yes, yeah, it is an area that has had flood issues before. They're kind of tucked into the mountains, so you get the downhill flow and it's easy for flooding to happen. But obviously then there's certain times like this past weekend where it's far worse than what it would be typical for them.
And tomorrow's the last day of the monsoon?
Tomorrow is the last official day.
Officially?
Yeah, June 15th to September 30th is the official season. For like OG Arizonans, they remember back in the day it was defined, the start of the monsoon was defined by the dew point temperature, and then you watched when it started to drop to say, oh, okay, we've fallen out of like the monsoonal pattern. But now there's a season set until September 30th. So
and that's been 2 years in a row now that they've done that? Or longer?
Oh, no, longer. I don't
Okay.
remember exactly how long, but like maybe 10 years or something like that.
Let's take a look at some of your numbers. I think I have your weather graphics up. This is impressive.
Yeah, so these are the kind of across the state, and then we'll dive into the valley. Prescott was about an inch. I just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I should note that Globe got rain in the vicinity the day before on Thursday as well. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, about an inch for Prescott, an inch and a third for Payson, just under an inch in Flagstaff, 0.8 of an inch or so in Show Low, and then more than 3.5 inches of rain falling in Globe, which led to that catastrophic flooding for them. For us, let's see here, I'll switch over to just kind of some stat comparisons because it's interesting to look at. Through last Thursday, so before these storms all hit, we had picked up almost an inch of rain officially at Phoenix Sky Harbor. Now, to be fair, some parts of the valley had considerably more than that by last Thursday. You know, there was parts of the West Valley, parts of like North Central Valley that had some pretty big totals, but at Sky Harbor, under an inch. Then just Friday and Saturday alone, 1.85 inches of rain that fell. So huge boost to the monsoon total. So we will end this season at 2.76 inches total for the season.
Oh, wow.
Which is above.
Which is above.
Yeah.
Yes. So the average is 2.43, if I'm remembering off the top of my head correctly. So this will end up being considered an above average season only because of the rain that fell these last couple of days, which is kind of wild to...
Because before those storms, we were going to be considered below average.
Yes, yeah, it would have been like a well below average season. If you think average is like right around 2.5 inches and we were at 0.9 inches, it was going to be like, it was a lower than normal season. To be fair, as I mentioned, sometimes when we have a below normal season at Sky Harbor, there are parts of the valley that still ended up being above average. And that would have been the case this year too. But now everywhere across the valley, their numbers are going to be at minimum right near average. And then at best, some spots, well.
I was very concerned about Sky Harbor on Friday. I asked Krystal multiple times, like, are we going to see measurable rain at Sky Harbor? Because
they even put a ground stop there. Yeah.
Because that's how they measure the rain. It's typically at Sky Harbor. Mm-hmm. But Sky Harbor wasn't getting the storms that everyone else was getting as we were watching it all kind of unfold. And then I think it was like Saturday afternoon or evening, Krystal texted me.
Yeah, I knew she wanted to know.
We're good.
Don't worry.
We're good.
We got rain.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that eventually Sky Harbor was going to see it. It's because it kind of started more like in the west on Friday, and then it spread slowly, obviously, and then it just kept churning over everybody. But sometimes you'll have those heavy cells just miss, and this time a few rolled right over them. So with that in mind, that 1.85 so far this year for all of 2025, Phoenix Sky Harbor has picked up 4.25 inches of rain, but the average to date for a whole year to September 29th is 5.25 inches of rain. So even with that almost 2 inches that we got, we are still for the year about an inch below average, actually. And then here are the numbers. Like I said, it was still varied amongst the valley. So you could see the totals were in that range of like 1.5 for parts of the West Valley. You can see like along the 101 towards Grand Ave, almost 1.7 inches. Glendale at around an inch. 2 inches atop White Tank, that area. And actually, if you look at the bottom bottom right hand of the screen in the like Levine, South Phoenix area. Some spots more like 2.5 inches of rain. And then some of the biggest numbers sliced right through the valley. So if you look up like the 51 and the 10, where it meets the 202, almost 2 inches. And then run up the 51 into the mountains, we've got almost 3 inches. And then near like where Deer Valley area is, 2 1/3 inch of rain, and about 2 inches at the best that we saw. These are all data, by the way, from Maricopa County Flood Control District, of 2 inches as well. Almost 3 inches near kind of on the way to Fountain Hills. And then some of the not quite as big, but still impressive numbers were in the East Valley, nearly 2 inches in Mesa. You do see north of the 202, right around the foothills, were at like 3 inches, and then parts of Queen Creek and Gilbert in that like 1/2 inch to inch range. So there were still some big totals pretty much for the entire valley over that 3-day stretch.
I was really surprised by how long the storm lasted, not just on Friday into Friday night, but into Saturday, and then Sunday morning we had rain. And
us too.
Yeah. And it's like I pay attention and I know you're predicting it, but
it still seems surprising.
Yes.
You're like, is that thunder again?
Yes.
Yeah. Sunday early morning, I woke up and I was like, I still hear some thunder out there. Yep. It was in part because of the fact that area of low pressure that brought in the energy and kind of the lift that we needed for these storms to fire off. It got sort of stuck, for a simple way of describing it. So since it was stuck, it was just continuing to churn, and it was in this like perfect pipeline spot to still grab moisture from the south, throw it up over Arizona, and still create this lift mechanism to continue to trigger storms. So a lot of times in Arizona, part of our problem is like we will have a humid day. There'll be moisture down at the surface, but maybe it's dry up above, or maybe you've got moisture at the surface and you've got moisture up above, but you don't have the lift. You don't have something to trigger it. And I explained it last week as like, and you see those really dramatic movies where there's like a room, it's like, oh my gosh, there's all the dynamite everywhere. Like nobody light a match, and then like
somebody lights a match.
That was
Friday.
That was pretty much what happened. We had dynamite all over, and we just needed the match to be lit. And it was that area of low pressure as that triggered
and someone lit it.
Yeah.
Let's bring Kenzie Beach in. Kenzie, can you hear us? Good morning. Okay, so I hit Dave Graphics 1, and we're not hearing her. She's on the phone. Try again. Graphics 1.
Hey, good morning.
Hi, there you are.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, guys. So we pulled over in Superior before we kind of head into the mountain range and make our way into Miami. We're about 30 minutes still from Miami Globe, but I chatted with you guys on Friday after that first round of storms, and Krystal, you did predict it that, they were going to get hit again, and that's exactly what happened.
So tell us a little bit about Friday, what it looked like then, and then what you're expecting.
Yeah.
We've been watching the video over the weekend, but what are you expecting out there?
Yeah, it's such devastation that they saw on Saturday. The flooding, just horrible. But what's interesting is when we're out there Friday, everyone is cleaning up kind of in a rush, knowing that this second wave of storms is coming. So, you're trying to get rid of, the first signs of flooding and the mud and all of that before it comes in again. And then they were just hit even harder, and people even lost their lives, and it just changes so quickly. But now we know today, there's about 100 people making their way up here just trying to help with the cleanup efforts. But Krystal, I also heard you talking about kind of the way that this area is set up. And when we were here Friday, a lot of the locals I spoke to said this is what happens every time it rains. Just the way it's set up, that the water runs off the mountains and right into these main streets and businesses and homes.
And I also wonder, too, it's such an old town. If anybody's been through the downtown area, it's very, antique stores and historic.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if their infrastructure isn't able to handle that much water that quick.
Yeah, and I think that probably was part of the problem.
It doesn't really seem like it walking around, at least.
Yeah, and Kenzie, like you said, I think they're used to getting flooding to an extent. They've got like the overpass areas and the Lake Canal areas. But when you get this much rain that fast, again, it was almost 4 inches of rain they picked up over a few days. Think about 4 inches falling all over mountaintops, and it all drains into one spot. That's just so much water that you can't handle it.
Yeah, when you look at those videos, it's just heartbreaking to see how quickly the water rose and how powerful it was and everything that it was bringing bringing in its path. I was just talking with our photojournalist, Brian Kay, about all the propane tanks that were just scattered all over town. I mean, if those are filled with propane, that is extremely dangerous.
We had 2 people who are confirmed dead in these floods. There's still several people missing. The governor saying this is a natural disaster, hoping that they'll be able to get some funding, hoping maybe, like Danielle mentioned, starting to rebuild in a way that could potentially prevent devastation. Like, you can't prevent necessarily all the flooding because of where they're located, but is that something, Kenzie, you'll be talking to the residents about? How can we prevent this in the future?
Yeah, and maybe just what they want to see change, because what they were saying on Friday is like, you know, you just hunker down when the storm comes. And obviously, as you mentioned, this flooding was just unprecedented and historic and so devastating. But for the people that live there, I'm sure they don't want to continue to see this happen, especially when you see loss of life. So we'll be walking around today talking to residents and see what they want to change. And people are still looking for loved ones. So, I mean, that is heartbreaking as well.
All right, Kenzie, be safe out there. Thank you. We'll continue to follow up with you. Appreciate it. Do we want to talk? You too. Thank you. Do we want to talk, Krystal, about what's to come? I know we had no triple digits in the 10-day. It's done. Is the monsoon done then?
Fingers crossed.
One more day
for the triple digits,
especially. And the monsoon is done. I don't expect us to be adding anything except for maybe like a sprinkle or a light shower along the far eastern edge of Apache County today. So yes, that component is done. Are the triple digits done? That's questionable. Here, I'll pop up the 10 days so that you guys can take a close look. Let me get it down for you guys. That's questionable. We could certainly see triple digits, as we know, well into October. Right now, we're teetering on the edge of triple digits Thursday, Friday, and then we do looks like take a slip as we head into the weekend. But I would not say triple digits are over yet. That would, I think, be a little premature and hopeful of me to do.
I have to say, we went to the ASU game on Friday, and luckily it was not raining when we got there, and we had to wait.
I meant to ask you because
we had to wait 30 minutes to get in. It was packed, like packed house, but we were freezing. And I hate saying that because we've been melting outside for how long now, but we were standing in line and I was like shivering. I was like, what a fool.
The temperature definitely
so
dropped.
Yes. Yeah. And of course, I'm like, we don't need coats. We're fine.
I think we ended up hitting 89 degrees on Friday for the high. And then by the time I left at 1 something in the afternoon, we were like well into the 70s. So it was like just crashing.
Which for me, I'm like,
rain.
Nope, I'm too cold.
We ventured
a true
out
desert girl
for dinner Saturday night, which we very rarely do.
Yeah.
And walked out of the restaurant. I was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
It was so cold.
Good.
I know.
It was amazing.
I know there's a lot of devastation and tragedy. But for the Arizonans who live here all the time, we do appreciate the change.
The cool down is nice. And it's a slow warm up this week. So at least it's not like we're jumping right back to triple digits tomorrow or something like that.
All right, we are going to take a break. And then we have our special guest from last week coming back in. We'll be right back. Hey, Dave, that graphics 1 button is not working. Because anytime I hit it, she wouldn't pop up and it would. Are these on? We brought you back because you were here last Thursday.
Yes. I think it was Thursday.
And you were here for One Hit Wonder Day. And literally like 1 minute into your sit-down interview, we had a...
excitement.
An alarm.
Yeah,
and it was just a
we had a drill.
It was just a drill. Everyone's good.
Now, the first thing I'd like to say is, Ty, you look so different. Are you wearing your hair? Is it?
Well, you know.
Yeah, no,
you never
it's good
know.
to see you. No, I'm glad to be back. I can talk one-hit wonders, but I had what I think is a brilliant idea this morning.
Okay.
And you can tell me if you think so. I'm going to announce it right here.
Okay.
Right now. It involves the Super Bowl halftime show.
Okay.
Oh, because, they just announced that Bad Bunny is taking...
Bunny.
I was convinced it was going to be Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Just because she's engaged to
Mr.
Kelsey.
See, I thought it was never going to be her because I always figured she wants to be enjoying herself, but who knows if the Chiefs are even going to be in the Super Bowl.
We assume they will be. See?
The thing is, when you sign on to do the halftime show, you get paid some, but not certainly what the last few entertainers have spent. They put their own money in because they want it to be so over the top that they lose money on the show, but what they gain in downloads,
it's publicity.
And
do you remember Usher?
Yeah.
I mean, when was Usher? 2 years ago, February.
Couple years ago, yeah.
That was huge.
It'll be 2 years ago, the next one.
Yeah.
But I mean, Usher came back. That was a revival
Brilliant
for Usher.
him. And roller skating live.
I thought he was great. That was one of my favorite.
Usher.
Yeah,
One
that was
small
one of my
pebble
favorite.
could have taken him down.
Oh.
Look at that. So Bad Bunny, people, he's obviously very popular, but there's a whole lot of people who keep saying, I'm on KNIX Country. When are we going to get a country act? Country has never been hotter than it has been in the last 5 or so years. And I thought of this morning. This happened in 1992. So the TV show In Living Color on Fox.
With Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, the Wayans brothers, very popular. They decided to counter-program against the halftime show. That year, the Super Bowl was on, I believe, CBS. And until then, from the first Super Bowl through 1992, they had these mundane theme shows. That year, it was supposed to be Gloria Estefan with a tribute to winter. They had some Olympic ice skaters on, the University of Minnesota marching band. So the people at In Living Color said, let's do a live show as soon as the Super Bowl halftime show starts.
Oh, no.
Scandal.
And it was a 20-minute version of the show. They promoted it. And as soon as halftime started on CBS, people tuned over to see.
They did.
No way.
Rushed the Super Bowl halftime show.
So are you saying that we should get a show together and
the very next year
crush the Super Bowl?
Michael Jackson was the halftime show. The NFL took notice and they never that's why you have these cultural iconic moments and
Are you saying
performers.
that Gloria Estefan is not as popular?
I believe the rhythm is going to get you eventually. But so here's what I thought. What if Super
Not
Bowl
tonight?
in 2026 is going to be on NBC. What if iHeart, we partner with Fox, and we get Morgan Wallen.
Well, we have a comment.
Yes?
Lil Philosophy says Jelly Roll instead.
Jelly Roll
And then
would be great.
Louis Gonzalez says yes, Jelly Roll.
With Morgan Wallen.
Jelly Roll.
That
I
would
say
be
yes.
amazing.
Morgan Wallen.
What about Miranda Lambert? Doesn't she live
Miranda.
here in town?
She's
Yeah.
amazing.
Dolly Parton?
Dolly Parton.
I mean, I would tune in to watch Dolly
100%.
9 to 5. Do a medley of all of Dolly's songs.
The last country act in the Super Bowl was 94. And it was, Clint Black and Winona and Tanya Tucker, not even Garth back then. So I think if we put this together, wherever we do it, in downtown Nashville, for the 20 minutes of the Super Bowl halftime, if you love Bad Bunny, go watch him. But otherwise, I bet it would get a huge audience. And it might make Jay-Z, who books the halftime show, notice, hey, maybe we should put a country act in there.
See, I was just about to ask you if you had any insight. So Jay-Z booked
I didn't know
His
that.
company, his company is in charge of that. And, and so either he doesn't like country or he just hasn't noticed the power of the popularity.
I would have to agree with you, and I'm very surprised that it isn't country because we were talking about that last year with the Super Bowl. I remember on air and the radio, and I really thought they would because country is so incredibly popular.
And I think Bad Bunny's popular, right? I mean, I've never heard a single
super
song.
Popular.
Okay.
I've seen him. He's the musical guest on SNL. I like his songs. They're mostly in Spanish.
Yeah.
He's from Puerto Rico, but he's a great entertainer.
He just got off the tour and did not have any stops in the U.S. because he was somewhat protesting the U.S. and had some concerns about, I guess, some political stuff happening here, or what he considered political. And so now he's saying, okay, but I'll do the Super Bowl. What do you think about that?
Well, that's interesting. I wonder if they're trying to move the Super Bowl to another country. Because that was actually proposed at one point during the meetings, that, now they play a game or two overseas.
Overseas, yeah.
Well, they do the season opener football, because weren't they just in Brazil?
They were just in Ireland yesterday.
They were?
Yeah, they played the Steelers and the Vikings are going to stay and play their next game in London. So at one of the NFL meetings, Goodell or someone proposed, what if we did the Super Bowl somewhere else? And that would drive people nuts. I don't think that would be cool.
Do you think ratings, though? I mean, they seem to go just so... There's been so much political around the NFL and football. And, I mean, at one point, do you think people are just going to say, forget it? Or... Probably not. Everyone loves football.
Probably not. I mean, I think it's become such a cultural moment.
Yeah.
We were talking today about what should be a national, like if you could make national holidays, new national holidays, there should be one the day after the Super Bowl.
Oh, today's National Coffee Day.
It's coffee day. Right.
But we should have the day off. We should be enjoying our day.
We should have the day
coffee.
off of Halloween. Always should be off. It will be.
So
this year.
Nevada does that. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, and they created Nevada Day.
Yeah.
So all the kids
can stay up late and trick or treat.
Exactly.
Well,
so every Halloween,
3-day weekend. I think that's a good idea.
When I'm elected the governor of Arizona, every Taco Tuesday.
Is this your bid right now? Perfect.
Every time.
You have my vote.
How about 410s?
Yeah.
Can we do
that.
410s?
Sure.
Do you think we're moving towards that? Do you think that'll ever be?
Not in our industry, because I don't know. I don't think so.
Sorry, folks. No TV on Fridays.
People might like that, actually.
Get into gardening.
You never know.
No, I couldn't live without this show. I watch every day.
The stream? Or
every day.
We got to take care of the people. We got to give the people what they want.
What's your handle when you're not here?
Corvette Guy 23. No, I don't. This is not Tim Hattrick at Gmail.
Do you drink coffee?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, Brooke doesn't really drink coffee. Brooke
does she drink caffeine?
She's Celsius.
Is she human?
Celsius.
She loves the Celsius.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
She says that we both drink, when she does, we both drink it black. Nothing in it. And that's a trait, a common trait of a serial killer.
Ooh, yeah, no.
No?
Cream and sugar.
I'll drink it black if there's no skim milk. I like old school cow's milk. Skim, though, a little bit in the coffee. Otherwise, like if we're on vacation at a hotel and they don't have it, I'll drink it black.
Can we mention brands? Can I mention Dutch Bros?
I don't care.
Okay, we're on the stream. Who cares, right? Have you ever gone through a Dutch Bros?
Dave, let's dial in on line 1 here, Dave.
You try to get through a Dutch Bros quickly, and they want to talk to you about your life.
We talk about that quite often in the meetings, and you know who does?
I'm like, maybe talk to me after you give me my drink.
You know who has a really good impression? I can't think right now because I don't have
Ty.
Is Ty.
Oh, really?
Ty will tell it like it is with Dutch Bros.
Yeah,
we should have them on.
Hey, how's your day going, buddy?
Yeah.
Hey, bro. Hey, what's up, bro? Don't call me bro, kid. Whatever.
Oh.
Chad. Listen, could I just get my coffee? I'm
just a lot happier afterwards. Okay. So that's why I'm like, I would love to have a conversation after.
Do you make coffee at home before you come to work?
No, I don't.
Oh, see, the first thing I do is I wake up and I turn the coffee machine on. The old school with the pot, like a pot of coffee. I don't drink the whole pot, but I like making coffee.
I used to be a Starbucks snob. I liked it really, really, very strong. I wanted it to taste like somebody put a cigarette out.
Like motor oil?
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a difference between strong and bitter.
And this was very bitter.
Yeah.
And you are what you eat, so.
Oh.
Now,
we have 4 minutes. Do you want to talk about one-hit wonders, or do you want to keep talking about coffee?
Sure. You know what? I had a quiz ready for you guys.
Oh, gosh.
And if I could pull it up here. How many G service do we have in the building? Okay,
85.
Good. I got 85 Gs. Wow.
I don't know.
So
Brandon says black coffee with a couple of sugars.
Yeah.
And Jen Walls loves Dutch Brothers.
Well,
I love Dutch Bros. They're good.
Oh, and also Super Bowl, Linda says Super Bowl should be the day before President's Day, then Monday's already a holiday.
Okay.
They talked about moving that a couple seasons ago.
That would make it 1 week later?
Yes.
Yeah. Why not?
Which I'm fine with.
All right. Let me ask you this. Do you know the song Escape by Rupert Holmes? It's the Pina Colada song.
Yes.
If you like Pina Colada.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a want ad for a date, a dating want ad. What is it that He asks if you like pina
Dancing in the
coladas
rain.
and getting caught in the rain.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, that's close
Bless
enough.
you.
Yeah.
Nothing to sneeze at.
Someone just
Another
sneezed.
one-hit wonder. A video killed the radio star.
I always thought it was Radio Man.
Wait.
I couldn't understand.
Video killed the radio. What is it most famous for? Was it the first song recorded digitally, the first music video shown on MTV, the first #1 hit for a UK synth pop band, or the first song with vocoder effects?
D, all the above.
Yeah.
Or C, actually. They'd always tell you to guess C in school.
It was the first video. It was actually B. First video shown on MTV.
Don't listen to me, folks.
I was watching it when MTV launched in 1980, whatever. And I sat there and went, this is dumb. It's a radio station.
On TV.
Who has time to watch a radio station? Then I watched it for 72 hours straight.
We didn't have cable when I was a kid. My parents just never got it, so I never got to watch MTV. No.
Okay, let's go a little country here. Achy Breaky Heart by Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah. We used to dance to that. My dad
What
would put
dance
that on.
craze was tied to the Achy Breaky Heart?
Some country.
Boot, scoot, and boogie? I don't know. Wait,
Well,
that's Brooks and Dunn.
Line dancing.
Line dancing.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
It was pre Brooks and Dunn, pre Boot Scoot and Boogie. Michelle Branch and Jessica Harp had a #1 hit.
I watched the video.
Do you know this one?
Well, I watched the video
Okay.
because I looked up your songs.
Oh, you did? Okay.
You
They had
cheater,
a
Anita.
#1 hit. Their very first song together went #1 on the Billboard country charts. And what was the name of the song? Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was called Leave the Pieces. What was the name of their group?
Anita knows because she looked at your sheet.
I really don't. Tim sent us a list Thursday of like all the songs he's going to talk about. So I was watching them in the car just to like see what I knew, what I didn't know. I didn't know that song, but the video was cute. But I don't know the name
Were
of the
you in
band.
a Waymo? Was somebody else
I was
driving?
with Juan. I was with Juan. He was
gotcha.
driving. We were going to a live show.
Michelle Branch and Jessica Harp had Leave the Pieces, #1 hit. They were the Wreckers.
Oh, yeah.
And immediately after that hit, they broke
was
up.
it.
And
We have less than a minute, Tim.
Michelle Branch grew up in Sedona. There you go.
Oh, interesting. You have 30 seconds. Do you have
Okay.
another quick question?
Let's see. If there's one more. Okay, here's one. Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba. One-hit wonder.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Yep.
You're never gonna.
What drink is mentioned in Tub Thumping? Whiskey, vodka, cider, or all of the
She think
above?
of a drink. She think of what?
Wait. All of the above.
Oh, yeah.
All of the above.
There you go. I was like
Anita's
starting to
the big
sing it.
drinker
But...
here.
Tim, where can we find you if people want to hear more from?
At KNIX Tim on Instagram and all the socials, and on 102.5 KNIX
Awesome. Tell Brooke hi.
in the iHeartRadio app.
Yeah.
There you go.
Des and Ron are coming in next.
We're gonna give you a yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Testing, 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 testing. And this is the continuation of Fox 10 Talks. You know, when I was driving into work this morning and I just glanced down at the temperature gauge in my car and I thought it was 73 degrees. And I think when we were on the air this morning, we pointed it out. It was around 72 degrees. I don't know right now. I assume we're, running somewhere around 80 or so.
Better than triple digits.
Des, that is so true. Look, we're the positive streaming show. We're not the angry streaming show or the negative streaming show.
These temps are heading in the right direction.
They are. Finally, you know what's funny is when you get to, good morning, everybody. I'm Ron Hoon. She is Desiree Fluellen.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Back from a week's vacay. We missed you like crazy.
Yes.
Glad
Thank
back.
you. Missed you guys too.
Good.
I missed sleep too, and I got a lot of that, so it feels good.
Man, it sure does. But it is so interesting. There's a thing when you live here in the Valley long enough where when you get to this time of year and you suddenly realize, oh yeah, the beautiful temps are coming. The rest of the country's going to be cold, and we're going to be in the 80s and the 90s, and you just look forward to the next 6 or 7 months. It's so great.
Oh, for sure. And I'm just hoping we get a nice, cool Halloween.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it is on a Friday this year, so that's
yeah.
nice for the kids. But,
well, the 10-day had popped up there, and all the lows are in the 70s. So
I know when I walked out to the car this morning, I was like,
Yeah,
so refreshing.
You're like, did I?
It was nice.
Do I have a jacket? Do I need one? Holy cow!
Not quite yet, but it was nice to think about it.
The thing about it is they are, we had to put up with epic levels of rain over the course of really all day Friday. So I think, Des, by 6 o'clock in the morning on Friday, we were already reporting flooding that was going on in the city.
Yeah.
And by around 10 or 11 in the morning in the newsroom, we were starting to hear about water rescues. And I thought, this is bad. And it really did get bad. I mean, we had one reporting station in the northern edge of Mesa that was over 3 inches. Sky Harbor was close to 2 inches in a 24-hour period. It was just unbelievable.
I mean, and it made its mark, right?
Yeah,
some of the most rain that we've seen in years.
And
Krystal's talked about that.
You live out in the East Valley. Did you get a lot? Because I didn't see Chandler, but I saw Queen Creek only got a third of an inch, and I'm like, oh boy.
No, we got a decent.
Did you?
Decent amount. Yeah. I didn't look at the totals, but it was definitely a soggy Friday.
Well, all weekend long, we've been doing our best to cover Globe for you, and these are the pictures of what it looked like up there in the Globe, Miami area once the flooding had come through, and just the amount of damage, the muddy mess. But we had people who were up on rooftops doing what they could to just kind of survive the flooding when it was at its worst. And one of the big stories was the floating away of all of the propane tanks. Close to 1,000 propane tanks floated away in that Globe area, and people were up there helping this weekend, doing what they could. And then here in the Valley, we had plenty of flooding as well, but we had this story we just had to share with you. This is Jarvis Johnson, an Uber driver who was on his way home from the hospital. He had just gone to the hospital because his wife had given birth to their newborn son. And then he gets stuck in the floodwaters. He sees other people getting stuck, and he jumps into action as the local hero. Ready? Here we go.
I love people because I believe that everybody has a story. I don't think I'm a hero. I just think that I'm just a regular person that did what almost anybody else in their right mind would have got out there and done.
How about that?
But I think he's wrong.
Oh, yes. Why? How?
I don't think a lot of people would have got out and done that.
Yeah. I think
I think it really speaks volumes as to what kind of person he is.
Correct.
And I said this morning, I'm like, he's just a good person being a good person.
Yeah.
How incredible.
And so often, when you see heroic acts and somebody is an actual hero, they'll say, no, I'm not a hero. I'm just doing what everybody else would do.
Right.
But yeah, it's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So our coverage on the aftermath of the storm will continue through the week. Irene especially has been doing such a good job for us up in that Globe, Miami area. Now,
I just wanted to know how his wife was doing. And what was he doing that he wasn't at the hospital? Was he going to get snacks or the first meal after labor?
Yeah.
That was my husband. I sent him out the door to go, get us a good dinner.
Did
so
you?
I was just curious, where was he going?
Really? What was his assignment exactly?
Oh,
you said,
well,
go get me some what?
After D3, it was Whataburger because that was the only thing open.
Right.
After the twins, that was around Thanksgiving. So we got a steak dinner from Mastro's and had Thanksgiving in the hospital room.
Yes.
And then after Demi, for whatever reason, I was just craving lunch meat the entire pregnancy,
Really?
But you can't.
Deli meat.
Yeah, you shouldn't eat deli meat when you're pregnant.
Right,
so it was Jimmy John's.
Oh, nice. Okay.
There you go.
Well, now
so I want to know what his wife ate. What was he going to get?
Thought ahead to what for baby number 5 it'll be, Des?
Ron, have you thought? Okay. No. Are you contributing to baby number 5? I cannot have 5.
Your beautiful family. Anyway,
oh, thank you.
Let's now. Anyway, that's good to know for sure. We're going to get into the serious news now because there's plenty to talk about. There was a court hearing, I believe. Let's see, it was just a couple of hours ago, and we promised we were going to follow along on the man charged with killing Charlie Kirk, and he was going to be in this court hearing virtually. His lawyers showed up, prosecutors showed up, and here is just a quick glimpse of what got said.
In regards to the next hearing, counsel, on that October 30th date at 10 a.m., it's the court's intent that be in person if it be the wish of counsel for the defense for Mr. Robinson to be present.
It is, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, so the big headline coming out of that is enough of the virtual appearances. The next time there will be a court hearing, he is going to be sitting in court. We're talking about Tyler Robinson in that awful, awful case. Now, speaking of awful and just horrific, it's just what happened at that church in Michigan this weekend is almost impossible to even fathom. But there was a news conference that was held just a little before 10 this morning. We were also rolling on that. The governor, Gretchen Whitmer, ordering all flags at half-staff across the state for the entire week, as she and others spoke at this news conference, and we did get some additional info.
As I said, I'm here as the governor, but I'm also here as a fellow Michigander.
Stream today, I can't.
Whose heart is breaking by another mass shooting in a place that is supposed to be defined by togetherness and a close-knit community here in Grand Blanc. As a state, we know the pain of this too well. We've seen gun violence in our schools, stores, parades, festivals, and our houses of worship. These are places that we go to feel connected, to feel safe, to be together. But today, this place has been shattered by bullets and broken glass. And this might be a familiar pain, but it hurts all the same.
While we are committed to keeping our community safe, we also need your help. Again, it takes everybody. 53% of mass attacks leave a trail of clues leading up to them. And 2/3 of mass attackers elicited behavior that caused concerns. So we are asking our communities to stay vigilant, and if you see something suspicious, please contact local law enforcement or 911 immediately.
You prepare in peace to perform in chaos. I saw it live. I saw what you trained for, what you planned for, and the reality hit yesterday morning on a bright sunny day when people went to worship. But what I also saw is every level of government law enforcement work together for the good of the people.
And there you actually saw the church as it was burning. We're still trying to get additional information. We did have a reporter, Des, on last hour from our sister station reporting some of the new information that the victims were as young as a little 6-year-old and as old as a 78-year-old. We don't know, grandma, grandpa, that kind of a situation. But the story was really, it was just heartbreaking to hear about it. And, you know, you've got a community that's really shattered as a result.
Yeah. And people that are still unaccounted for too, that, just went to church looking to worship on a Sunday.
Sure.
And didn't expect this.
And, I mentioned it last hour. I said, when I go to church, there are kids everywhere, little kids. But I was always worried when the numbers were going to come out about the older folks, because they're always, grandmas, grandpas have a hard time getting around.
Right.
And then we learned the oldest victim is almost 80 years old. Ironically, all of this happened the very day after the longtime leader of the church, Russell Nelson, died just the night before at his home in Salt Lake City. He was 101. He was the most amazing guy. He was a world-class heart surgeon who performed literally hundreds of heart operations. He spoke, I think, 7 languages, including Mandarin. I mean, he was quite a brilliant guy. He was an athlete. He skied until the age of 90. But then I guess if you live in Utah, you love to ski. So a loss for all the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that's for sure. Okay, there was something that happened this weekend that was really touching, and it had to do you remember that story about an alleged drunk driver that hit the woman who was simply out there doing her job, trying to make some extra money for her family, driving an Uber? They had a really beautiful service for her, and here is some of what got said there. Not sure if we actually have the sound itself, but family and friends gathered to honor the memory of Nicole Snell of Chandler. She was just given a ride to a woman one evening here a little more than a week ago when this other driver slammed into her car. The impact also killed 33-year-old Melissa Jogan as the car hit into a pole. And one of the quotes I saw as they had this memorial for her, she was a butterfly. She was so beautiful. And we want to remember her the way that she would want us to remember her. There you go. So that was out there right along Wrecker Road. We just have too many of these really serious fatal accidents. We don't even have time, Des, to get it. There was another wrong-way driver over the weekend.
And that's always devastating to me when you hear that someone was stopped at a red light and, someone blew the red light, because there's not much reaction time in that. You're sitting at a red light, not expecting that. You're not moving. You can't really maneuver out of the way. So just devastating.
Just heartbreaking, that's for sure. Break time. We are going to be back with some of the talkers of the day after this. And we welcome you back. We just barely snuck it in right before the break. So if you guys have your guesses for where you think today's mystery cam is, you can jump in right now. You can be with Lil Philosophy, who says, I'm thinking it's Indiana. And that would be great, but we have plenty of other guesses, like Jens Wall is saying, no, maybe more like Missouri. Or Brandon Miguel. Brandon, a longtime faithful viewer of Fox 10 Talks, is saying, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, this is Mississippi. I can see that being Jackson, Mississippi. That's one of the state capitals that I have not yet been to, Des, but we have some other guesses, too.
Mississippi. Did we go over Luis Gonzalez, Oklahoma?
No.
Yep.
So...
Husky Mom thinks it might be Colorado.
Yeah, a couple of Missouri guesses there. Linda's talking about Missouri as well.
I'm going Missouri then, if you guys are confident with that.
Oh, yeah, there is some
Did I steal your guess, Ron?
No, I'm going to jump in with Brandon and go M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I. Yeah, you know.
Okay.
You know the whole drill. Here we go.
Where do you think it is?
I'm saying Mississippi.
All right.
Okay.
It's Bartlesville.
Bartlesville?
Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
One last look at it.
Say
right
that
there.
5 times.
Yeah, gosh, no kidding.
Bartlesville.
Here it is. There's our mystery.
Okay. Have you ever heard of Bartlesville?
I've heard of it. I think it's kind of in the oil country of Oklahoma. One of our most loyal viewers ever, a guy named Clayton, who I think still watches us on YouTube, but he moved from Casa Grande, longtime loyal viewer, to Oklahoma. I'll have to check in with him. Get the 411 on Bartlesville, that's for sure. Okay, so we have a news conference underway, and one of the great things about a streaming show is we can, we got a plan, but when things are happening, Des,
hey, we can be flexible.
Right so I'm going to go right to this live source. The president, well, I don't believe we've even seen Benjamin Netanyahu yet, but President Trump speaking about a possible peace deal in the works regarding Israel and Gaza. Let's listen.
I recognize Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, and I cut taxpayer funding to the corrupt United Nations Relief and Works Agency. And United Nations was interesting because, as you know, a few days ago they introduced me. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States. I'm looking at my teleprompter, and the thing was dead, stone cold, dead. The thing's up here. I have a long, beautiful speech to make. I'm back 30 feet back, and I'm saying, they're introducing me. There's nothing on my teleprompter. So, but I made a speech. I actually got good marks. You think Biden could have done that? I don't think so. I don't think he could have done that. I don't think too many people could have done it. But actually, it was actually more of a speech from my heart, if you want to know the truth. I think it was maybe better in certain ways because it was from the heart. It has to be from the heart. Otherwise, you're in big trouble. But I cut taxpayer funding for that very corrupt United Nations Relief and Works Agency, and nobody thought that would be done, and withdrew from the horrible Iran nuclear deal that was imposed upon Israel by Barack Hussein Obama and Biden. And I don't think Biden knew anything about it, though. I don't think he knows anything about it now, actually, if you ask him. He'd say, what is that? And we obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity, making it impossible for them to have a nuclear weapon, which they would have had probably in about 2 months from that. But I've never asked Israel to compromise its security, but we had big, strong talk. Nobody's been better to Israel. No president's been better to Israel than Donald Trump. But we had a long, strong talk, Bibi and I, and he understands it's time. It's time. History has shown, and the people of Israel want it. And the people of the Middle East want it. The people of enemies of Israel want it, but they don't have really too many enemies right now. And you know what? Many countries have gained great respect for Israel, for the way they fight, for the job they do, including me. I had respect anyway, but they gained respect. History has shown us that those who have relations with Israel have thrived, while those who have devoted resources and attention toward the destruction and even annihilation of Israel have languished. They haven't done well. Israel is not going anywhere. They're going to coexist with other people and countries in the region from Syria to Lebanon to Saudi Arabia. The promise of a new Middle East is so clearly within our reach. This is the closest we've ever come to real peace, not fake peace, not political fool's peace. If we can get this difficult problem solved, the opportunities for all within that vast region of this world, it's a vast region, it's unlimited.
And so we are going to keep monitoring what the president has to say there. But the headline is this, that he is confident a ceasefire deal can be reached, but not announcing it just yet. So I guess we don't really know for sure how close they are. Des, time to switch gears.
Yes.
As you well know, it's National Coffee Day.
Oh, I love coffee.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you're on vacay, do you have like a regular neighborhood place you like to hit up or what?
My kitchen.
There you go. Quite a bit less than a Starbucks or a Dutch Bros.
I hate to go there, right?
It's
Get on
been
the
$6,
soapbox, but it's just it's just so expensive now, just for a cup of coffee. And I like Starbucks, and it's pricier.
Yeah.
So my home kitchen generally. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you don't drink coffee?
No, I'm more.
You'll
of
do the soda. That's how you're getting your caffeine.
This is, yeah, I do. The problem is so many sodas have aspartame, and I think that's something we're staying away from.
You steer clear of that
so
for
I
sure.
just look for the stuff that has no aspartame. Mm-hmm. And
does the trick for you?
Yeah,
look at that Huskies
Never made
cup.
it to the Husky game this weekend.
Oh.
It was a story of like 11 hours
Did you talk about
at the
that?
airport.
Is there
not a lot, but I had my grandkids with me. We were going to fly up.
This was
Washington
Friday.
Played Ohio State, and we had a 2:00 flight out. And got there about 1:00, and it looked like everything was a go, even though the weather was starting to look bad. Right about liftoff time, I got a text saying, "Oh, that 2:00 flight's moved to 4:30."
Ooh.
And then later it got
again.
moved to 7:30, and the grandkids were actually really great about it. They threw the football around in the airport. People were rooting them on. And then they said not till 11:15 Friday night. Now I think everybody was dealing with this because flights were being canceled or crazy delayed.
Yeah, well, there was a ground stop Friday, so that made a big impact for sure.
I guess
you probably needed a coffee by that point because you were up since what?
I did figure by the
24 hours.
Yeah, by the time we got out of there and I drove the kids home, it was about 1:00 in the morning.
And you drove home.
Close to a 24-hour day.
Wow. Okay, so you needed a coffee then. But it's going to cost us more, right?
Was to actually go to the Husky game, but they lost to Ohio State anyway. So heartbreak after heartbreak. Anyway, National Coffee Day. There are some deals.
Good.
Should we go through them?
Let's do it.
Okay. Krispy Kreme is giving out a free cup of Joe and a donut with the help of singer Joe Jonas. That's the entire length of what we know about it.
That's it.
So I think if you love your cup of Joe and you love a Krispy Kreme, go and find out what it's all about.
Okay.
A lot of times you got to do something in the app or whatever.
Yeah. Or you have to wear something or be the first.
Correct.
How many customers through the door? Bye, James.
Yeah. But Dunkin' is saying free medium hot or iced coffee with any purchase in their app. So those are the biggies. Krispy Kreme and Dunkin'.
Okay. All right. So wait, Krispy Kreme, free. Okay. Fans of the donut, a free medium coffee, hot or iced, and a donut at any participating Krispy Kreme.
Okay.
No purchase necessary. Additionally, customers can score a dozen original glazed donuts for $1 with the purchase of any dozen at regular price.
Wow.
Both in store and on the app.
See, now that's legit. The ones where you don't have to purchase anything, you just get something free. Good for Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, now Starbucks, Des just announced she's not going there anymore until those prices come down. But they are getting into the protein business because there are all these places now that you can go and get protein shakes. So they have protein lattes, protein cold foams, protein boosted milk. And they literally rolled it out today. So if you're into the protein thing, which you are, do you do protein drinks?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. Usually I'll do homemade. I like Orgain. I'm really into that brand. Tastes delicious, super healthy, a bunch of superfoods. And they do have a based version.
Okay.
So I'll make those at home. Or a really good hack that my husband just discovered, and he kind of put me onto this.
Oh, wow. Take notes, everybody. I am.
He does a vanilla protein powder and then mixes that with iced coffee.
Oh.
Shake it up, and it's like your creamer in the coffee.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, that actually is pretty good. So there you go. If you maybe don't like protein shakes or want to get in both.
Good.
Yeah. It's
All
good.
right.
You have to
Maybe
try
we'll
it.
bring David in here one of these days and have him make it right before our eyes.
Yeah, man, he needs it. He's on a long stretch of days right now.
So one last story here before, can you believe, once again, our 30 minutes comes
Yes, I
and goes
can.
so
It always
fast.
goes fast.
I know it goes by so fast, but there's this thing called bio-baiting. Not this couple. Everything's great with them. But people using dating apps are saying they're not exactly lying. Let's say they're embellishing. And so, for example, somebody may say they love to go out hiking, but then almost never hit the trails. And so folks are hopping on these dating apps. They are super popular, but then they get on there and they're like, I don't really feel like I'm getting the whole story from you. And so I guess, Des, I guess we could call it lying, but it's called bio-baiting.
I don't know. I think it's more like lying.
It sounds like lying, right?
Like, come on. I don't even know if you would say exaggerating. Because, if you go on one hike and then you're like, I'm an avid hiker.
Right?
I mean, that's like too far from the truth.
Right.
But I don't know. You got to be careful. I do have some friends that are currently single, and I'm like, I don't envy you.
Are they on the dating apps, or are they doing something?
They're having to go that route.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, why is it so hard to meet somebody? In person these days, or just. I don't know. I hear some horror stories. I'm like, geez, maybe I'm glad I'm married.
You better be
I am glad I'm married.
You are glad you're married, so am I. I know that much. But yeah.
So good luck if you're out there single.
Yeah.
Tough world.
Right. But
how do you decide? What do you do? You sit down on your first date and you say, let me go through this bio that you put on your page. Like, it's going to take time for things to come out.
At that point, it becomes speed dating. You're like, I'm going to go through this in about 3 minutes, and you better be able to back this up, or I'm in the parking lot.
Yeah. You and Renee didn't have to worry about any of that.
No, I know. But, we dated for 2 years before we got married, so.
Okay.
Anyway, we got to say our goodbyes. We love hanging out with you guys on Fox 10 Talks. And guess what? Des, we'll be back tomorrow.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Glad to be back. Thanks, guys. Bio-bait.